This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. 2 words, Taco Tuesday at all participating Taco John's, including the Taco John's food truck over on the south side. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Again, 19s need to move, 20s on the way, including the 2020 Telluride. What a great-looking SUV. Get behind the wheel of a Kia. They sell themselves. Let the guys inside take care of the paperwork, and then you just take home the Kia of your dreams. It's a pretty simple drill. See my good buddy AJ and Greg and the entire crew over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, done everything in between. All the banking services that you can fathom is happening right now at Platte Valley Bank, right there at the corner of College and Pershing on the east side, and the original location on Vanda High. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards, and, of course, from Powers Field. Ray and Cindy's Place with 2 convenient drive-thrus, serving up 3 squares Monday through Saturday, and for a limited time, you want to be one of those that try their Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich. Wash it down with their Strawberry Passion Tea Lemonade. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription, you can do your duties or your business inside with Gene and the gang over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse, or use their convenient drive-thru. They're open Monday through Saturday. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center, both a part of Lennox Enterprises. Again, serving our area for a quarter century, founded by Dick Lennox. Tradition carried on by his daughter Heather. The Auto and Truck Repair Center on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center. And remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, banking done the old-fashioned way. Customer service, you first and foremost, from the great staff over at First Tier Bank. Talk to them about their special CD rates right now. An annual percentage yield on a 27-month CD at 3.1%. Mondello's Pizzeria directly across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Again, Joe and the gang invite you to come on by for delicious pie, along with stromboli, calzones, and sandwiches on fresh baked bread. All ingredients fresh and delicious, including the dough, made fresh every day at Mondello's Pizzeria. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D, the Greenway Commons. And it's scoreboard time. We go first to Nick and see what's going on, being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Well, some rough news out of Farmington, New Mexico. As for Cheyenne Post 6, their season has come to an end, and unfortunately, as they took on the Phenom Texas team earlier this morning at 10 a.m., lost this game, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, 8-7, where for Cheyenne Post 6 did have a 7-0 lead in this contest early on, but Phenom Texas did come back, won this contest, and for Cheyenne Post 6, their season officially comes to an end. They are, at least with their record with the loss, 51-25 on the 2019 season. Do want to mention as well, too, regarding American Legion, that just went final up in Gillette, Wyoming, as the Casper Oilers will win their first American Legion Baseball State Championship in over 23 years as they defeated the Jackson Giants by a final score of 5-0. So the Casper Oilers are your 2019 American Legion, at least state champions here in the state of Wyoming. And last but not least, on the local side as well, do want to remind folks coming up tomorrow here in town, or at least on Thursday, Cheyenne Extreme will hold their tryouts over at Converse softball complex. Registration 5:30, tryouts 6 to 8 p.m., and there is no tryout fee.
Major League Baseball, top of the 5th inning at Petco this afternoon. Padres are leading the Orioles 4-3. Games getting underway when we get out of here. Bravos and the Nats at Nats Park. Diamondbacks, Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Giants and the Phils at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Astros, Indians at Progressive Field. Rays, Red Sox at Fenway. It's the Twins and the Marlins at Marlins Park. Pirates, Reds at Great American Ballpark. 6 o'clock games will have the M's at the Rangers, Mets and the White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, interleague action. Cubs Cardinals at Busch. Also in the 6 o'clock hour, 6:15, Blue Jays Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Dodgers and the Rockies at Coors Field. Once again, 98 degrees currently in Lodo right now. Jose Urias will get the call for L.A. And for the Rocks, it will be Kyle Freeland taking his 2-8 and lofty 7.00 ERA on the hill for Bud Black's Rockies. Late tonight on the left coast, Tigers, Angels at Angel Stadium, Anaheim, Brewers, and the Athletics from the Coliseum in interleague play. Scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the do.
We're working hard for your business. I'm AJ Miller at Kia of Cheyenne, and right now you could save on the 2019 Kia Forte. The 2019 Kia Forte is priceless, yet still offers standard features not found on most of its competitors. With Kia Forte, you can charge your phone with available wireless charging, voice command navigation, and 8-inch touchscreen to help sync up your world. Come into Kia of Cheyenne or call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
The end of the summer is in sight. Did you accomplish all of your home improvements and remodeling projects? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or adding a little extra space for your growing family, the Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank can help you finish what you want to complete this summer. So stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All lines of credit are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 89. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 58. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 87. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 58.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Wyoming Sports Talk today, Tuesday afternoon, live from the KRAE studios. Oh, we missed out on one score. One season comes to an end, another one continues on at the State A Legion tournament in Douglas. The Cheyenne Hawks win, the junior varsity team of the Post Sixers, as they move on to the semis, as they pick up a big win over Powell, 15-2. That went 5 innings. So again, in action tomorrow will be the Hawks representing Cheyenne at the State A tournament. Joining us in studio for this afternoon is one Chris Polton, our other broadcast voice, especially for hoops, and of course will be joining us up in the broadcast booth for football once again.
As he's all dolled up in Dodger stuff as always, again, as they surprisingly lost last night in Coors against the Colorado Rockies, where, you know, something that I was talking about yesterday, and I wanted to get the correct calculation, or at least, you know, get the numbers out in front of. In the month of July, 23 games have been played by the Colorado Rockies. Now, this includes last night's win by the Rockies, but they have 2 games remaining here, so again, 25 in total in this month. Rockies have gone 5-18 in the month of July. That's how bad it's been.
Well, then they also threw Maeda last night. Maeda is, he's an average pitcher. I mean, he's at the Mendoza line prior to last night's game. So I don't want to say it's almost like the Dodgers threw one last night, but, Maeda has been average.
He is. He does throw well at Coors Field. He had like a 3.15 ERA or something like that. But anytime you walk a pitcher that's trying to bunt, to sacrifice themselves, and you get to the top of the lineup, even with Charlie Blackmon out, it's still a good lineup. David Dahl's, nothing to turn your nose on. But when you can't get free outs, you're especially at Coors Field, the Rockies are a good enough offense where they'll make you pay, and they did that last night. And I think John Gray showed a lot last night too. That second inning, he had back-to-back walks to Bellinger and Seager, and then struck out the side right after that. I think that was a growing-up moment for John Gray, and for the Rockies, not so much for this year, but for future years, they've been relying on that guy to be the headline of their staff. And last night was that game that you could see where you get a chance to see this is the potential that John Gray has.
Or either it was a setup game for, as we are getting at least very close to trade deadline, where the Rockies should be sellers at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't think John Gray's untouchable.
Well, Ian Desmond, though, as Nick and myself watched him whiff 4 times against the Giants last night. He misses the cycle by 1 as he got a single, double, triple, and walked last night. So he showcases a little bit. I don't know what Bridich is going to do. I have a feeling right now that the Rockies got nothing to offer except for Blackmon.
Blackman's the only. I mean, I think you would get some takers for a Wade Davis. I think because if you look at
probably Shaw going back to the American League.
Well, and if you look at Wade Davis's numbers outside of Coors Field, they're really good. Like he's got like a sub-2 ERA away from Coors Field. He just has a god-awful ERA at Coors. But Charlie Blackmon is the guy. First of all, the contract is ridiculous. I think they pay him all the way until he's 38. He's not going to keep this production till then. Get some value for him. You have Tapia, you have David Dahl, you have Ian Desmond right now. Charlie Blackmon, although is a huge fan favorite, you can get a lot in return and maybe find another headline pitcher or at least somebody that is MLB ready. And I mean, a team that I'd be knocking down the door right now is the Mets. I would try to go and see what you could put together to get a guy like Noah Syndergaard, who they still are very adamant that they are shopping around. And Syndergaard's numbers aren't great this year, but Noah Syndergaard's the real deal, and he does it with a fastball and slider, which John Gray showed you anything last night, if you can locate your fastball and you can mix in that slider, you can be very effective at Coors Field because the slider is the better off-speed pitch at Coors Field.
But who knows what the hell the Mets are going to do again. Was the Marcus Stroman trade just in place to at least where the Mets realize, hey, we're going to get rid of Syndergaard, this is just a replace arm on that starting role, or is it something that they're building up of saying they're committed? Again, rumors have been floating that the Mets are now happy to stand pat, that they're no longer interested in at least sending off Syndergaard, that they're basically just trying to build for the future, as it seems like they've done year in and year out right now. But right now, it is a situation for the Rockies. You do have pieces that teams are interested, again, with Wade Davis, with Shaw, with Charlie Blackmon. Again, there are teams that are going to be desperate, but right now, as here we are getting closer and closer to trade deadline, nothing has really happened. No teams are really.
There hasn't been that blockbuster move.
Yeah, again, no one's willing to pull the trigger. It's also too bringing up arguments, is bringing up at least statements by clubs or at least GMs across the MLB that are arguing that trade deadline's a little too early in the season for them, that they're not too happy about this because, as from what I've been reading, that a lot of GMs are not too happy at this point in time to make these decisions because a lot of them are still on that fence of, do they need to be buyers? Do they still need to be sellers?
That's a crock.
If you don't know by August.
And again,
I agree.
What was offered in the article that I read on ESPN is some GMs have come out and said that they want trade deadline to be pushed into mid-August, is where that is the happy push.
You can do trades after July 31st.
They just can't be on the playoff roster.
Yeah.
No, they can. It's just the non-waiver. This is the non-waiver period. So after July 31st, they have to pass through waivers.
There's a certain day, though.
There is a certain day. I think it's sometime in September.
Is it September?
I think it's September because all those September call-ups that they bring in, you can actually carry some of those guys on your playoff roster. And a lot of those September call-up guys aren't necessarily guys that were on the active 40-man roster. So I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure because there's been guys that have been like Justin Verlander. not Justin Verlander. There was somebody a few years ago that was traded after the non-waiver trade deadline, but was still able to play in the playoffs with the team that they were traded to.
Well, here's the thing, too, and I think the problem that we're seeing right now with the trades, and then we're having all these GMs whining, is the stupid money that's been thrown out.
Yeah.
Well, and again, absorbing right now, Mad Bone is a great steal. He's only making $7 million. So, and he's in the last year of his deal. So you're going to eat maybe a couple months, and I know the Giants aren't going to get rid of him, but I'm just saying.
We don't know about that.
Well,
it still goes back and forth.
Let's just say, for argument's sake, that they don't get rid of him. You're only going to have to eat 2 months of his salary, and that's not stupid money right now.
No.
But some of these other guys, Blackman is making good money. Yeah. So, and a team like the Yankees and Boston, who got money, or the Giants,
L.A. could afford
and
them,
the Dodgers, and obviously the Rockies would be stupid to trade within their own division, but they are dumb anyway. Bridich is a dumb general manager.
Yeah, the Yankees and the Red Sox could be a good landing place for Blackman because the Yankees still aren't sold on their 3 outfielders because, one, Stanton can't stay healthy, and so they also have that DH position open up. But then, you think they're going to live and die off of, guys like Aaron Hicks and Brett Gardner in the outfield? You think that's something they don't want to upgrade? Same with the Red Sox. Jackie Bradley Jr. was really good last year in the regular season, but he has not been good this year. He was good last year in the postseason, has not been that good this year during the regular season. And Benintendi hasn't been that great either. All you have is Mookie Betts out in the outfield. They could use an upgrade. And Charlie Blackmon is still young enough to where he can play a very productive center field. But again, the way his contract is set up, he's not making as much money now. But in the last 2 years of that contract, he's making over 25, I think, a year. And that's when he's 37, 38 years old.
Well, and who knows with Blackmon? We saw last year with the Dodgers, you front and center with what happened there with the piece that is now part of the San Diego Padres. Maybe it is something one of those teams just get him on as a hired gun. Then in the offseason we figure out, all right, do we retain him? Do we do this or something?
You have to. It's not a club option until after 3 years, I think. So you have to keep him at least the 3 years.
Yeah, you're going to have to eat the salary. So, again, if you're going to trade for Blackman, and we're throwing, again, all rumors, gang, nothing set in stone here, but if you're trading for Blackman, the Rockies are going to want a hell of a lot.
Yeah, and they should.
And they're going to want a front liner. They're not going to want, prospects. If the Rockies want prospects, then they definitely need to, go ahead and finish in last place.
Right.
But the point is, you're going to get rid of probably, like you said, a most popular player, a guy that is, as of late, a perennial 300 hitter, is going to get you 30 home runs, probably close to 100 RBIs. And
multi-time all-star.
Score over 100 runs.
And Nick and myself had the argument here a couple of years back where he was in the talk for an MVP in the National League, him and Arenado back-to-back, and I think he finished in the top 5. So, again, he reminds me of the top premier leadoff hitter and reminds me of old Ricky Henderson, who could go yard. The only thing that Blackman can't do, as opposed to what Ricky Henderson did, is steal bases.
Right, which no leadoff hitters really do anymore.
Stolen bases become almost obsolete. A thing of the past. Yeah.
Well, so in the team, or at least just thinking about teams of if the Rockies do decide to sell, and again, at least try to move off Blackman or move whoever a part of this team, again, you got to look at teams that are willing to give, instead of prospects, of established starters or at least established big names to contribute to the Colorado Rockies. Again, what are the Rockies' needs at this point in time? It's pitching, all up and down. Now, the one team where, again, will the Rockies deal with this team as much as they are kind of rivals in division that have tossed out these rumors, who have established or at least have put on a big ace, and also to have at least tossed out their relief core as being tradable? That'd be the San Francisco Giants. So, again, maybe that would be a deal in theory where Rockies send off Blackman, or at least Giants get that hired gun help, or at least for the offensive side, at least in exchange, a Will Smith reliever who's doing phenomenal things for the Giants that's been put on the trade board before. Right. Again, Giants have held him out saying, hey, we're willing to get rid of this guy. Same with Madison Bumgarner. There's your ace as well, too, or at least a starter that Rockies desperately need as well, too, to bolster this.
Or they may go after a Schmarzda. I don't think they're going to trade.
Or either a Drew Pomerantz as well. Again, Pomerantz
but he's already had a stint with the Rockies, and he was just as bad with the Rockies as he is with the Giants. But the thing is with the Blackman, and again, I wouldn't see anything wrong with that trade. They'll do anything to PO the Dodgers. I mean, that would be it, especially when you.
I think that's everybody in the division.
I know. I think when you have a former Dodger GM now running the San Francisco business, I think they'll do anything to, go after the Dodgers. If they go with Blackmon, again, we're throwing this out as a rumor. If Blackmon went to the Giants, Schmarzda would be gone. I don't think they would go for Will Smith. They would keep Davis.
No, here's the deal. Fahidi doesn't do older guys on the tail end of their prime. He doesn't do that. If you looked at all the trades that he made while he was in the Dodger organization, they didn't go after guys. They went after rental players. So he's not going to go after a guy in Blackmon that's going to be there for another 3 to 5 years, right? Because it's a 6-year contract. He's not going to go after a guy like that. He's going to go after a guy that he's going to get him at the very beginning of his prime, or he's going to go and get the prospects. If you look at the Dodgers farm system, it's loaded with prospects. Right now, they could have a trade with the Pirates right now for Vasquez, their closer, but the Pirates want to gut their farm system and get Gavin Lux, their shortstop, and the Dodgers are like, absolutely not. So I think for Zarhan, his biggest thing now is building the farm system for San Francisco. So if the last I saw, Mad Bum had his name was being tied with the Astros. So it would be getting prospects from the Astros. The best trade for the Rockies, and not for Charlie Blackmon, but for the Rockies, is to partner Charlie Blackmon and Ryan McMahon, because the Mets say they want MLB-ready talent. Ryan McMahon, a 270 hitter. He'll probably hit you a good 10, 15 home runs. Will play solid defense either at second base or at third base, where they have an aging Cano and a very aged Todd Frazier right now for the Mets. So now they'll get younger there, and then they get Charlie Blackmon out in the outfield.
Or Cespedes has been oft injured. Nimmo has been hurt.
Yeah, so you get somebody that's – Blackman's dealt with his injuries a little bit this year, but for the most part, he's going to give you about 140 to 150 games a year, which is great out of a corner outfielder, plus that production. And then in return, you get a guy like Noah Syndergaard for the Rockies. I think that's a win-win. The fans will not like it at first, but I think once they get a chance to see Noah Syndergaard every fifth day, if he can finally stay healthy, because that's the one thing too with Syndergaard, he hasn't had a full year. I think scratch it. He's had one full year where he's been able to pitch 30 times, make the 30 to 35 starts. Other than that, he's been hurt for the most part.
What about DeGrom? We're not hearing that name being talked
No,
about.
I think the Mets will hold on to him.
Yeah, that's the indication that DeGrom would stay with the New York Mets. But again, all options, all possibilities. Again, if you look at the Giants option, you look at the Mets option. Again, you're running into players, especially with the Madison Bumgarner situation, as you mentioned with Syndergaard. He's had at least healthy seasons, but recently he's run into just the oddball injuries, whether it was on the ATV accident with the spring training accident earlier this year. He's run into these injuries, and they're starting to come a little bit oft right now for one Madison Bumgarner. But again, it has not really affected too much of his, at least style or his speed or anything. He's still got his
last 3 starts since the All-Star break, and I think the last one where he got touched up here against the Padres. But again, he's still giving you 7 innings of work. He went the 9 against the Mets and gave up a run. I think, and again, I'm going to fight for Mad Bum. I think the Giants are stupid if they even get Mad Bum on the trade block. I think he is one of your, and you go with the injuries. He has not been injured this year. That was 2 years ago where he had the spring training accident just before opening day, and then, of course, the ATV accident 2 years ago.
Which the ATV accident, he said he came back way earlier than he should have.
But this year, with a very lousy offensive team in the first half of the season, he still kept his ERA under 4. They were bad. And all of a sudden,
offensive-wise for the Giants, there's anything special now. They're just finding a way. That pitching is what's keeping them in ball games.
They're pitching, and they're getting those key runs, and they're winning the extra inning games. Look at the extra inning games that they've been a part of.
They are the best of the majors at 11-2.
So that says it all right there. But again, Mad Bum has been on the receiving end of 2 or 3 no decisions here this month. So, I think they're just dumb. And again, he is right now a bargain for the Giants, and I think he'll be and again, he's not about the money. That, Nick.
It's not good also, too, where the Giants at least players or at least personnel in that club have come out and at least stated, whether it is to the media, on social media, however they've gotten the word out. But again, this is a team that's now banded together, realize that they have something special here, can still have a shot at postseason. They got, again, a few things to work on or a few pieces ahead of them to get past. But, again, they have a big series coming up in Philadelphia tonight against the Phillies. But for the San Francisco Giants, this is a clubhouse that said, hey, if you're going to get rid of Madison Bumgarner, we're going to start a little anarchy here, or at least to kind of put it in those words, they were not going to be happy if Madison leaves this team at any point in time of what they're doing right now here in 2019.
Well, and unfortunately, with Zaharan coming in, he had to kind of clean up a little bit of a fire because they spent bad money at bad players. Like
absolutely.
Spending all that money on Longoria, Andrew McCutchen, Austin Jackson. You're spending money.
Go back to Beltran and what they did with him.
Well, at least he was on a World Series team, so he wasn't like it's terrible money. But Longoria, Jackson, and McCutchen, they spent money on. McCutchen and Jackson aren't even with the team anymore.
Yeah. And
Longoria is
also
terrible.
and he's also in trade talks as well too.
Yeah, well, Longoria is trying to get off. At least the updates with him is he's supposed to come back very soon. The foot was at least apparently feeling good for Longoria, so his return kind of is on the same pace of Cueto, at least in the next couple weeks or so.
And then they signed Melanson thinking, okay, they found their answer at closer, and then he was awful last year. He's been a lot better this year. I think Will Smith, was a surprise to them. But I think they have the right thing. I don't think they should touch their bullpen because between you have Maranta, you have Will Smith, you have Melanson. You have 7,
Dyson.
8, 9. Dyson. You have it to where you can shorten up your starting pitching because, Samardzija, I'll be honest, Samardzija surprises me because he's having way better of a year than I thought he would have.
He's always been an innings eater, though.
Yeah, that is one thing because he's had to be because their bullpen, especially last year, their bullpen was not good last year. But then you still have guys like Derek Holland who's kind of reinvented himself in the bullpen and been able to take a step back. But, they're going to need guys like Drew Pomeranz and, to really continue to try to find that success he had a little bit in Boston last year and try to lengthen his starts if they are going to make that run. Because the one thing, too, is if for the Giants, I would not want to see him in a short series.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with maybe some more trade talks after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
The message is simple. Drive sober or get pulled over. If you drink and drive, remember it's illegal and it can cost you your freedom or worse, your life. It's been determined that a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or more can impair you considerably when you are behind the wheel. Financially, it can devastate you if you get arrested. More importantly, it could result in losing a friend or a family member. That price is too high to pay. Call a designated driver after enjoying a night out and get home safe. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste.
Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, we're getting a chance to play general manager here in the closing hours of trading, and the trade deadline again wraps up at 11:59 tonight Eastern time. That would be 9:59 our time. So, you know, and we're just sitting here. I'm going to go look at the National League real quick while we have Chris in with us. Chris Polton join us here in hour number one. Dodgers would be in the hunt for middle relief or closer.
Well, from what I heard, Edwin, they want a closer that they can make an eighth inning guy, I think. So the name they're tied closest with right now is Edwin Diaz of the Mets. I think a lot of people feel like he's more of a victim of circumstance than he is that, you know, he is a year removed from having, you know, being the reliever of the year in the American League last year, the Mariano Rivera Award, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
But so him and then Felipe Vasquez from Pittsburgh. Those are their two. I think those are the only two things they're ultimately worried about, is finding a way to strengthen. Now, if they can't do it through the trade deadline, like I was telling you in the break, they could do it through their farm system. Dustin May just had an amazing month in.
But he's a starter, so you're going to obviously throw.
Well, they did to Buehler and they did it to Urias, so it's shown that they can make the adjustment. And I think that's one thing the Dodgers have done well, is they kind of ease their top pitching prospects into major leagues by just giving them a relief appearance.
I want to mention at least stand corrected about the trade deadline, and it's not done tonight at midnight. Instead, it will be the clock strikes midnight. At least tomorrow, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when at least the trade deadline will be officially closed for Major League Baseball. So at least another day and a half.
You stop saying July 31st then.
Well, tomorrow's July 31st, but
that's right. I'm thinking today's July 31st. My bad, guy. I'm getting ready to do billing, and I kept thinking today was.
I wish it was the 31st.
All right.
Tomorrow. So they have a full day still to get everything at least organized. But keeping on the theme with the LA Dodgers for you, Chris, where right now they stand about 14 games ahead of the San Francisco Giants. Again, where I've said that the Dodgers have already won, and I stated this about 2 months ago, that the Dodgers have won the West. They're postseason bound. There's no worry for this franchise at this point in time. It's a team that is pretty much full and complete, other than bolstering the bullpen.
It should be the number one seed.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
That's the thing they're playing for. The Yankees are only a game behind them as far as the overall number one seed. Because remember, now the All-Star game doesn't decide who has the home field. So for the Dodgers, even though their division is at hand right now, but the Yankees are one game behind them. And as far as the Dodgers go, they know, especially even though they lost to the Astros, they know having that cushion of having a Game 7 at home is so much better than doing it on the road. Right. I'm sure Walker Buehler would have been a lot better Game 7 against the Brewers at home. He still pitched great in Milwaukee, but I'm sure the Dodgers would much rather have the NLCS at home than they would on the road.
Nick, are the Diamondbacks buyers, or are they going to be sellers?
With the Arizona Diamondbacks, again, they are still within it. They are still competitive right now, still looking up to the San Francisco Giants and a few other teams in front of them in the wild card. Again, that's all Giants have to look forward to. Arizona Diamondbacks have to look forward to. Again, the Padres on the outside looking in. Arizona, there's been no rumblings, no grumblings about them making moves. I think Arizona just might be a team that just says, hey, we're happy what we have right now. no need to move pieces. They already moved pieces in the offseason, or at least around spring training. They already took care of all that. Arizona, I think, just stands pat and just kind of rides the course and just plays of, all right, let's see what happens with this crew right now. Again, I don't think Arizona's expectations for this season, I don't think we're really high or at least postseason bound. It is something of, hey, let's figure out where we are as a team and what needs do we have for the couple, at least future years.
Robbie Ray is the only one that I've been
and then
hearing.
I'm looking at the Cardinals. I think they stay pat. I think the Nationals now will stay pat, and the Braves.
Yeah,
I think both teams are. I think those two, the Nationals especially, the fire they've caught. And again, we heard Scherzer. I think they're going to do the same thing they did with Mad Bump.
Well,
they're doing Mad Bump.
And
they're going to keep them there.
Same out of Arizona with Zach Greinke. His name has been tossed around as well of what is Arizona going to do with him? Will he at least be moving from the Diamondbacks? Again, so far, nothing has happened. Again, trade deadline is about 24 hours away, or at least less than 24 hours to hit that at least midnight clock in MLB. Do I foresee any of these big names moving before 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow? I really doubt it. I highly doubt it. Again, I think you'll probably see the Dodgers pick up, some little, not big names, but kind of bolster the bullpen. You'll pick up some names out there, nothing too major. Again, some other teams will find those small pieces, but I don't think you'll see a Syndergaard on the move. You don't see a Blackman on the move. You won't see a Bumgarner on the move. I think this year, as what we've been seeing and we've been talking about for a couple weeks now, it's going to be a relatively quiet trade deadline.
Well, you got the Cubs trading with the Blue Jays today, so they got David Phelps, and Phelps will come over to Chicago. He's 32 years old. He had a 3.63 ERA.
Yeah, he'll be a 7-8 inning guy.
Yeah, so that's been a minor trade. The Phils acquired Vargas from the Mets, so they actually traded within the division. That's interesting. So they got him on Monday, and the Mets received minor league catcher Austin Bosart in the deal, and the Phillies could get a boost to the starting rotation that has struggled throughout the season. So, they got a southpaw. But, again, I'm going to probably agree with you, Nick, that I just don't think
your big name was Marcus Stroman in one of the most ridiculous trades of all time.
That's your biggest trade. But he wanted to go home, though.
Well, I respect that, but again, for the Mets, or at least this trade didn't make a whole lot of sense. If not, it's definitely good for the Mets. I would say it's probably good for both teams in the long run. Again, Toronto getting all those draft picks, bolstering where Toronto's already cashed in. They know that they are rebuilding at this point in time. They're moving older pieces out and trying to get the most out of what they can. And for the New York Mets, in the long run, if they are to keep Syndergaard, DeGrom, if they can get pieces at least more on the offensive side, again, get that at least outfield all settled and find pieces that are no longer at least off injured, again, where in my opinion, I think Cespedes is eventually leaving the Mets. I think also, too, there's going to be a good reality that we have to realize here in town that one Brandon Nimmo probably not going to stay for a Met for long. He's very oft injured. He's, again, the big name that was supposed to kind of help out this team, and he's not really had that opportunity out there for the New York Mets. And I think we could see coming up very quickly, if not post this season, for the Mets to move on with him. But, if Mets keep this starting rotation together with now adding Marcus Stroman, that's a pretty daunting. It's on paper, it's a scary starting lineup.
I think for the Mets too, you have to realize they can't afford to sell everything and then try to rebuild. They live in a market that doesn't allow for that. And I think with how the Yankees are now, like the Yankees,
they're in a huge shadow in New York.
You can say
the
Yankees are in which the Mets take offense to. I think the Mets, what they don't realize is if you look at kind of where the Mets have been, they got very close from having that Atlanta Brave type starting rotation with Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Steven Matz. Like they thought that was going to be their Tom Glavine, Steve Avery, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux. They thought that was going to be that type of rotation. Now, unfortunately, with injuries and Harvey falling off the deep end with whatever, doing his Dark Knight stuff, that, and unfortunately it didn't pan out. So for the Mets, and I think the Mets are close. I thought the Mets were going to be a team that was going to be one to look out for, especially early on. It looked like they were going to be a team
They've just fallen.
Well,
off the
it's
face of the
an
earth.
organization that was a few years removed from being in the World Series, being playoff at least contention. We know, them losing in that wild card game against the San Francisco Giants a few years ago. It's been a playoff team with the pieces that it's had, or at least interchangeable. But I think for the Mets, with this move with Stroman, it is something. In my opinion, it's something that they're looking towards the future, not necessarily this year, but it is something of, hey, 2020 Mets fans, we got the pitching. Let's work on maybe some offensive pieces and defense.
And they do have a core. Conforto, Pete Alonso. Alonso is going to run away with the Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's anybody that can argue that he's not going to win Rookie of the Year.
And that's one of the reasons why the Cespedeses of the world, along with the Nimos of the world, are now expendable.
Right. And Conforto's just been – he's been consistent. He hasn't put up, world-beating numbers or anything, or all-star numbers, but he's been consistent. The thing that the Mets have hung their hat on has been timely hitting and pitching, and they don't have timely hitting. I mean, unless Pete Alonso carries their team offensively, I mean, they're relying on guys like Robinson Cano, who hasn't been Robinson Cano since he got to Seattle.
Yeah.
And then you have Todd Frazier, who left the short porch in the Great American Small Park of Cincinnati and hasn't been the same since then. And they chased players, kind of similar to what San Francisco did, where they chased some veteran-type players that have had success. The Mets did the same thing. They chased players. Cespedes, that year they lost to the Giants in the wild card. Cespedes was like an MVP caliber player, and then ever since then he got paid by the Mets, and he's been absent.
Well, here's another thing, too, and we didn't mention this, and we'll take a break here coming up after this thought. Greinke, as you had mentioned with Arizona, team that's got money too, and they've got the offense. They're one or maybe two pitchers away, and one of them definitely is a starter. I don't know if they need somebody in that middle relief. Is the Angels? They've got some bucks, and I wouldn't be surprised if a Greinke deal is being discussed right now with the Halos.
I'll tell you what, and for the Angels, they got emotion on their side as well. Ever since I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure they have a ridiculous record since the death of Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah.
They've been playing some really good baseball. I think they were 2 or 3 teams 4 or 5 teams above them in the wild card race. Now I think there's only a couple of teams above them in the wild card race, and they're playing,
inspired baseball.
Inspired baseball, and I think everybody's ready to see Mike Trout in October.
Yeah, the Angels still have a bit of a climb, especially in their own division, where right now they're still a few games behind the Oakland A's, again, with the Houston Astros. But, again, the wild card is on their spot. But, yes, they have been a hot team. And again, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, if they are to make that, again, they're only a game and a half behind the San Francisco Giants. So, Arizona not out of the postseason. They still have a shot if they want to be buyers coming up.
We're going to take a timeout. Come back. We got more after these words on Fortune 80 KRAE.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We'll work hard for your business, and we'll work just as hard to keep it. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and you need to see the new 2019 Kia Sportage today. The 2019 Kia Sportage offers numerous options and advanced driving features that help you know who is around you and how best to stay in control. Kia Sportage offers many standard features for the money. Some of the competition does not. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Delrange.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 89. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 58. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 87. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 58.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on the show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, we've been talking baseball through about the first 50 minutes of our program this afternoon. We have Chris Polton in, who joins us on Tuesdays when he's available, and we're glad that he's in today. You know, Chris, we always dominate the conversation. Anything that you want to throw at us, add to the program?
Well, just going back to post 6, as Nick had mentioned, it was, that 7-0 lead, and then they eight runs. I think the biggest thing I think Coach Lane's going to look at is the errors. I was following along on Twitter. The first 2 runs scored by that Phenom team, they didn't register a hit. Yeah. I think anytime you're playing in a tournament atmosphere like that, and you go up, I think it was 7-0 after 3 innings or 2.5 innings.
Yeah.
You got to put a team away. You have to put your foot on their throat, and you have to keep it there. So I think the post 6 did a great job getting out to that quick lead, and then I think they became complacent, which complacency is probably the worst thing that can ever happen to a baseball team, because in baseball you can't just sit on a lead. Unfortunately, you have to do something in order for the game to end, and they didn't do enough.
And for post 6, obviously playing out here, level of talent, it got bolstered in the Connie Mack World Series, as what we saw with what happened with post 6, again, struggling this past weekend, as again only mustering up 1 win out of 4 losses, where again their season has now come to an official end. But for post 6, again, you ran into top-level talent, again, a team out of Texas where, yes, you got complacent, as you mentioned. It is something where post 6 has gone through, as I mentioned, they're 51-25. They had a lot of wins where they pretty much cruised to that win and never had any difficulty or didn't really have any of these big scares like they experienced here today. But basically, to give the quick rundown of what happened with post 6, post 6 intentionally walked at least a player to load the bases there in the 7th inning. Player for Phenom for the Texas team who was 0-3 with 3 strikeouts on the day. So it kind of made sense to at least load the bases for the guy that has been the guaranteed out for the Phenom, at least for earlier this morning. Unfortunately, that player, though, hit a 2-run walk-off single where the Phenom did come back in that contest again, 8-7, where they are moving on in the losers bracket down there in the Connie Mack World Series, and post 6 season has come to an end. So that's kind of the storybook, at least, ending that you didn't want to see for post 6. That is something that you see in the movies where the guy who is kind of the underdog gets it done for the opposing team and gets them at least the win.
Right, and and I know you guys talked to the commissioner with the American Legion about post 6 missing the state tournament. I'll still defend post 6 for going out there. It's a new experience. It's something, again, I'm a big proponent that as a high school coach or a coach that, in this case that's coaching high schoolers, your main job on top of the wins is getting exposure to your baseball players. And what better exposure than going to New Mexico, where teams from Texas, Florida, California are all going to be out there, where you're going to see more people, more eyes will get a chance to see them play.
But also, let me interject here, but also too, they go 1-4 in this tournament, 1-3 in pool, 1-2 in pool play.
Yeah, what were you expecting out of post 6?
0-2. No, wait a minute. If you're going to be dancing with the big boys,
yeah,
you better bring a game with you, like you said. Can't bring errors with you.
Yeah, but this is their first test. This is their first opportunity. Again,
I'm being devil's advocate here, Nick. I'm just saying, because again, the state AA is missing them They're the showcase team at this tournament.
Yeah, but what happened though, especially with Post 6 moving on to the Connie Mack World Series, putting their name on the map again, representing this region for the first time ever. They made history. This team has made history where no other team in this state, in Colorado and Montana, has done this and got this opportunity. So they made that opportunity. And again, obviously it was a rough entry into it, but it's a learning and growing experience for Ty Lane, for the Post 6 organization, and they now know what to expect when they go to another World Series, whether it is Connie Mack or American Legion or whatever they compete in postseason play. But the positive as well, too, with Post 6 moving on and stepping away from the at least state tournament, you saw, as I mentioned earlier on top of the hour, with the Casper Oilers. For the first time in 23 years, they won the state title and have an opportunity. That talent there in Casper now can showcase at the Northwest Regional up in Idaho, where they haven't in 23 years. So, again, this is, I think, where the word disappointment came out a lot yesterday by the commissioner. Again, it's hard to say that there's disappointment here in the state of Wyoming, especially on the Legion side, where now you have two teams that got to showcase talents. You have another team that hasn't been able to, who was also picked at the beginning to at least originally win the state tournament, but they still did either way. And now you have two Wyoming teams that showcase talents, across the nation potentially.
Well, for the commissioner though, his only worry is to put his best team into the tournament. So,
and Casper was it?
And if Post 6. Yeah, but they did it without Post 6. If Post 6 there, then you have your very best of the state competing. I get it from that standpoint, but I'm sorry, as a coach, you need to be selfish when it comes to your players. What's going to be best for your players? Ty took a gamble and went to the Connie Mack World Series. It didn't turn out like he would expect, but I bet you those kids had a much better experience going to Farmington, New Mexico than they would have going and playing state, playing the same teams they play all season long. And you know what? With Post 6, they've been kind of like them and who was it last year they beat in the championship? Was it Laramie? Gillette. So, it's for them, it gives them just a different level of competition. When you play the same level of competition, I'm going to use the same word, you become complacent. And, when you look at Post 6 schedule, they try to play as many Colorado teams, or they try to go out and play these different tournaments to get different teams from different states because of the fact they want to challenge themselves. And when it comes to Wyoming baseball, like you said, Larry, Post 6 is kind of the toast of Wyoming baseball when it comes to Legion ball right now. So why not for Post 6 to test their skills outside of a Legion to see how truly good they are?
Well, Nick and myself talked about this, I think, off air when we were getting done yesterday, and we both said, well, what if the commissioner kind of lays down the law and says no more competition in these type of tournaments?
Well, it's basically will he put down an edict, so to speak, in the American Legion saying,
can he do it? Does he have the power to do that?
It sounded like that could be a possibility again. Well, they will have their talks off season, at least postseason, to figure out what's going to happen in 2020. But if those edicts come down, where could there be a possibility that Post 6 is barred from playing in the Cabo World Series here in town? There could be that possibility due to the fact that this is the reason why Post 6 is playing in the Connie Mack World Series, because of that automatic berth, where in theory this Cabo World Series was just for Connie Mack teams alone. So it'll be interesting to see what is the ramifications from this, if any at all. Hopefully there is none, and hopefully that this American Legion board gets on board, at least so to speak, gets on board and allows Post 6, allows the Casper Oilers, allows the Gillette Rough Riders, and every team in the American Legion here in the state of Wyoming to venture out to take on Triple Crown Wyoming here in town, to take on the Casper Crush, the Connie Mack lone team now in the state of Wyoming, to expand out and better themselves to be prepared for the World Series that they'll potentially play in.
What about trying to propose some type of schedule change? What if making the state tournament a week earlier, or making the state tournament a week later, so a team that can go to the Connie Mack World Series, they can go, they are allowed to go do that and then still not miss these opportunities to go play for a state title or go and play in the regional. And now I know that could probably be a complete nightmare, and I don't know enough about it to where it's how easily that could be done. But if you don't want to fight that battle and make one of your more successful programs within your state make that decision, then maybe you need to think about how can I fix it to make it better for everyone.
Well, again, the American Legion, they stand by some strict standards. But we did find out yesterday when the Laramie situation happened in South Dakota. They were taking on a Connie Mack team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, the Miles City team was Connie Mack.
So they were playing Connie Mack. So
Which
again,
I'm not going to compare apples to oranges.
No, but
we're still playing baseball. It's still baseball.
We're talking about, though, playing against the Renegade teams. Well, it seems like these crossover games have been happening for a long time. So and you're right, baseball's baseball. American Legion standards, though, Post 6 has their set of bylaws they stand by.
I'm just saying, again, the term Renegades is pretty rough. That's American Legion term that they use for at least teams outside of the American Legion League, but it is something where, again, Triple Crown baseball here in town still holds themselves to high standards. It's still a baseball program. They are still respectable, and they're not getting into fights. It was just the heat of the moment, a situation where Miles City and Laramie got heated, as we learned as well, too. Before the game, emotions just got high, and it built up to that point in that game. And here we are in social media days where everything is videotaped. Everything can go viral at this point in time. It's just a freak of nature that happened. So hopefully these events of what happened here in a wacky 2019 in American Legion baseball here in the state of Wyoming do not trend downwards, or at least do not affect 2020 in a harsh way, so to speak, where it does bar Post 6 or any American Legion team to take on those renegade teams within state or around the nation. Hopefully it does not limit these teams.
But this is what I'm driving at here to both of you guys. If the edict comes down, and again, we're playing if here, it's not recommended, because that's the way you'd probably term it. It's not recommended that you play in these type of tournaments.
Yeah.
But Post 6 is going to say, hey, we're the defending champions. We need to play in this tournament. So, I mean,
it's good revenue generating too.
I understand that, but I'm just saying. Yeah. What if? Because we kind of got the impression yesterday.
Yeah.
From Cody Beers, the commissioner. Again, the word disappointment came out numerous times.
Yeah.
So he's going to think about this. I would venture to say, with all of the American Legion boards this winter, they're going to talk about it. Something's going to have to come about. And I would think, it would be something like, my recommendation is not to play in these type of tournaments. We should be playing our own tournaments, that type of situation. And that way we can avoid having the situation that we had this year. Well, Post 6 is going to say, you know what, we had a great time in Farmington. We may have gone 1-4 down there, but you know what?
There is a Connie Mack opening here in the city of Cheyenne now.
Well, they're not going to go from Connie Mack.
And I'd be interested to hear from Coach Ty when they do get back to see what the experience was like, and to see, Ty's a competitive dude. I'm sure he's not going to like the fact that they went 1-4, but as far as just the overall experience of a tournament of that sorts, how that play, and especially playing those teams, that first team they played, apparently they're no joke. They didn't just beat down on Post 6; they've been beating down on everybody by the looks of things. So, for him to get a chance to see that level of talent, because I bet you that made that tournament, even though he went 1-4, I bet you Ty can come back and say, I'm a better coach now because I went there. I now know there's certain things that I can help prepare my kids for any tournament, for any situation that I now need to do in everyday practice.
And again, like I said yesterday to Nick as well, this is a situation that these young men hopefully will maybe experience something else at another level. But for now, this has probably been the greatest experience of their life as far as athletics is concerned.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, as you mentioned, Chris, we will, at least I will, reach out to Ty Lane, hopefully once they get back from Farmington, let them just kind of evaluate things here for the week, at least let the emotions kind of run still a little bit high, and then hopefully we'll have them in studio to talk about the Farmington experience at the Connie Mack World Series coming up next week at some point in time here on Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And we need to get to the top of the hour. We want to thank Chris Polton for joining us once again, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with him next Tuesday. We're back with hour number 2 after these words here at 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra chicken sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra chicken sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
The message is simple. Drive sober or get pulled over. If you drink and drive, remember it's illegal and it can cost you your freedom or worse, your life. It's been determined that a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or more can impair you considerably when you are behind the wheel. Financially, it can devastate you if you get arrested. More importantly, it could result in losing a friend or a family member. That price is too high to pay. Call a designated driver after enjoying a night out and get home safe. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome to hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open Monday through Sunday. First Tier Bank is directly across the street. At 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, all part of Lennox Enterprises, serving our community for a quarter century. Medicap Pharmacy, Bluegrass Circle, as always, where they've been at since the day one. They're right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Powers Field, and Menards, serving up 3 squares, Monday through Saturday, and again for a limited time, their Strawberry Passion Tea Lemonade, along with their Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich at Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. Plant Valley Bank ×2. The original location on Vanda High, and of course the east side location, corner of College and Pershing, open Monday through Friday. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way, and the family of Kias are waiting for you and a test drive. Kick a few tires, bring your bucket of bolts in, your current bucket of bolts, trade it in, and take home the Kia of your dreams today. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. And last but not least, we thank Taco John's of Cheyenne. It's a very simple drill on Tuesday. Taco Tuesdays. Even though I know they're doing their Sierra chicken sandwich promotion, it's still Taco Tuesday at all Taco John's of Cheyenne, including the Taco John's food truck. And we get things underway. It's scoreboard time again. We go to the Nexter, and it's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
As we mentioned a few times, but again, recapping Cheyenne Post 6 down in Farmington, New Mexico at the Connie Mack World Series. Taking on the Phenom Texas team today at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, lost that game 8-7 as it was a come-from-behind win by that Phenom team. So Cheyenne Post 6, their season has come to an end, unfortunately. They finished their regular season and postseason record in total 51-25 for the 2019 campaign. Do want to mention as well, too, out of Gillette, Wyoming, Casper Oilers They win their first American Legion Baseball State Championship in 23 years. The Oilers defeated the Jackson Giants earlier today, 5-0. Again, Casper Oilers will move on to compete in the Northwest Regional coming up in Idaho. And then last but not least, here in town, do want to remind folks coming up on Thursday, August 1st, here in town at the Conference Softball Complex. Shine Extreme will be holding tryouts once again. There is a no tryout fee for this. Registration happens at 5:30 p.m. Tryouts between 6 and 8 p.m. Again, Shine Extreme tryouts coming up this Thursday.
And you forgot from a state tournament.
Yeah, I forgot again. Cheyenne Hawks, they are undefeated right now.
They beat Powell today, 15-2.
2-0 in the single A happening. Not in Cody, as it's happening, Douglas?
It's in Douglas,
yes.
Yeah. Cody is already advanced. They already advanced to the Northwest because they're hosting.
Yeah, they're in the single A competing in double A, but again, as they are the host city for the Northwest Regional and single A, Cody's are automatically moving on. But yes, Casper, or at least the Cheyenne Hawks competing in the single A, that's happening in Douglas due to the fact of this whole convoluted thing.
Anyway, they won 15-2 over Powell, and they move into the semifinals. Major League Baseball. They're into the bottom of the seventh inning at Petco. Padres and the Orioles matinee performance, and it's right now knotted up at 5 apiece between the Birds and the Padres. Let's see, 5 o'clock games. Bravos Nationals at Nats Park. Diamondbacks Yankees, Yankee Stadium. Giants Phils at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Astros Indians Progressive Field. Rays Red Sox at Fenway. Twins Marlins. Interleague play at Marlins Park. Pirates Reds at Great American Ballpark. 6 o'clock games, we'll have the M's at the Rangers at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Mets and the White Sox, interleague play, Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Cubs Cardinals at Busch, battle for the front runner of the Central Division. It's the Blue Jays Royals at Kauffman Stadium, 6:40 tonight at Coors, as the Rockies will entertain the Dodgers, 92 currently, as Julio Urias will get the call for the Dodgers. Cal Freeland, 2-8, 7.00 earned run average on the hill for Bud Blatt's Rockies that are currently at 50 and 57. 8 o'clock games, Tigers Angels at Angel Stadium, Anaheim. Brewers Athletics in interleague play at the Oakland Coliseum. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find the store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
I got to remind myself on this Tuesday, July 30th. Man, I don't know why I was a day ahead last hour. But with that all being said, I do know that there's a Hall of Fame game football coming up on Thursday. Who cares?
Yeah, again, it's preseason. It does not really matter.
But are you ready for this?
What?
For the Broncos. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio said Kevin Hogan, the Stanford product, who I think was drafted by New England. Does that sound right? And then ended up with the Broncos.
I have no idea.
He will start a quarterback in Thursday's game. Drew Lock, the rookie, will follow Hogan into the game, and rookie Brett Ripien will close the game out.
All right, so again, no surprise there. Obviously, Broncos.
No Joe Flacco.
Well, yeah, no point putting him out again. You know Flacco is going to be your guy. No need to rush him because, outside of Joe Flacco, if he gets injured, which does happen at a point in time in these preseason games. We've seen it, a few other instances, but, for whatever reason, if Flacco goes down, Broncos are kind of, they're in a world of hurt because who do you go to? But also, too, would it really matter at this point in time for the Broncos if Flacco does go down? Because right now, again, as we talked about the U.S. Today preseason, at least predictions, Broncos are expected to be one of the worst teams in the AFC, having an awful season. I think at least I agree with it, especially seeing what that schedule is coming up for the Denver Broncos. Would it be a big loss if Joe Flacco, again, nothing against the guy, don't want him to be injured, but I mean, for the Broncos, would they be in a world of hurt where this team's already got low expectations for the season upcoming?
Well, again, you got
Kevin Hogan. Where do you go? Again, would you go with a Ripien? Do you go Hogan? Do you toss out a
You probably would go with the veteran Hogan, who has some NFL experience. And again, not a lot, but some. And I'm talking very little NFL experience.
And that's what it sounds like, again, with the Thursday start. We're getting Kevin Hogan out there.
Let him get the depth chart right now shows Hogan 2 and Drew Lockett number 3.
Yeah, again, you're kind of splitting hairs at a point in time with the Broncos. But again, 2019, 2020 season, it's pretty much a wash for the Denver Broncos at this point in time. They're not expected to do a whole lot and don't anticipate it. So, we'll see what this Broncos team is made of. Again, preseason, nothing to base off anything. It's more so to see what the future batch of the Broncos is going to look like for future years. And that's about it at this point in time. Get those rookies some reps in NFL play. And that's all you're getting.
Well, you're going to see again, if you are a diehard Broncos fan, you're watching the game. Very few of the starters. Matter of fact, on the offensive side, left tackle Garrett Bull, center Connor McGovern, and left guard Dalton Reisner will be in the game for a few plays.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So, again, it's the Hall of Fame game. It's in Canton, Ohio. I'm glad that they're getting the game back in Canton. That's about it. But it's way too early for me for football. I'm sorry.
We still have.
I can't get into it.
Yeah, we still have plenty of baseball left, and to keep on baseball as well too. To give a little shout out to a league that's happening in our area, since again with Post 6, their season now officially done. Extreme done in softball. Triple Crown Wyoming now, again, their season is officially done, or at least they've now moved into their new venture of being part of that Triple Crown League. But do want to give a shout out and talk about a little bit of the Expedition League happening in our area, at least with Nebraska, South Dakota, all the way up into Canada, even with the Casper Horseheads. But if you are interested, or at least entertained by the current standings, Western Nebraska Pioneers, defending 2018 champions in that Expedition League. They lead the Clark Division. They are 43-13. They're 14 games ahead of the Casper Horseheads, who are 29-27. So it looks like Western Nebraska has got that Dodger lead, and they should cruise on as their season comes to an end here.
Is owned by the same guy.
Yeah, owned by the same guy. Fremont Moo, they're 28-27. They're 14.5 back of Western Nebraska. Spearfish Sasquatch, they're 25-30. They're 17.5 back. And the Hastings Sodbusters, they're 23-34. They're 20.5 back in that Clark division. Looking at the Lewis division of the Expedition League, Badlands Big Sticks, they're 42-17. They lead that division. Behind them is the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs. They are 32-26. They're 9.5 back of Badlands. Pure Trappers, they are 11 back. They are 30-27. Hub City Hotshots, 22-33 at 18 games back. And the Wheat City Whiskey Jacks, the new team out of Canada, they are 9-49, 32.5 games back.
Which we saw when we were up there. And you know what? The quality of baseball, and I go back to the days when we had the Mountain Collegiate Baseball League. I think the quality just a little bit above the old Mountain Collegiate Baseball League.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Good baseball.
There's no doubt about it. Even Chris has talked about it when we had him in last week or 2 weeks ago. We were talking about this Expedition League where we were entertaining, or at least trying to get thoughts of, will this league ever come to the city of Cheyenne? But it does take a new ballpark. And again, regarding that, with that update, we are still trying, or at least I'm still trying to get those folks in studio with us to get those answers of where we are athletic-wise here in the city of Cheyenne to bring leagues in like this, where we are without, again, besides Post 6, the Extreme, and with Triple Crown Wyoming. We're without, we're down to high school athletics, which is still fine and dandy out here. Again, that's a great way to go entertain some local athletes. But, the city does deserve other options as well too. With the loss of the Grizzlies, as you mentioned again, the loss of the Cheyenne Stampede, with the Cheyenne Warriors Arena football, with that going extinct after 3 seasons. It is something that Cheyenne, I think, deserves or should have some sort of minor league or some entities like this Expedition League here in town. But as we look with this league, for instance, I think they're into their last month of the schedule here before they get into the playoffs.
And then they have to go rejoin their college team.
At least they have, about a week and a half. Looks like for the Western Nebraska Pioneers over there in Gering, their last game will be August 11th, and then playoffs start. But yes, again, as you mentioned, with the quality, at least the quality of players over there, we were hearing school names, for instance, of BYU, Boise State. I think Robert Morris out of Chicago. You had some big names. I think Arizona State was tossed out. San Diego State was tossed out of there. Fresno, I think, was another school, at least Mountain West representation from at least on the baseball side of things. And then you did have some community colleges, some JUCOs. For instance, again, Pima Community College, one of the premier JUCO baseball spots. You had representation playing a part of this league, but again, to at least keep on the baseball theme, so to speak, I want to give folks that update on what's going on in the Expedition League happening around our area. Unfortunately, not happening here in the city of Cheyenne.
And will it happen one day, gang? Don't know. And it unfortunately, is it up to us? It could be. I think the city of Cheyenne needs to pony up to the bar, because you know what? I'm getting tired of fighting for this city. The city has proven itself to be lackadaisical on stuff.
Yeah.
And doing things haphazardly. And again, there should be ballpark number 2 right next door to Powers Field. That has not come to fruition.
Well,
that was years ago, Nick. Think about it.
Yeah.
I made a run for the city council back in 2012. So we're talking almost 8 years. This has been dormant.
Yeah.
It's a field.
Well, again, the field is dormant, and same with the ice and event center at this point in time, and that brings up another question. As here we are, we're already talking about football. We're getting ready for high school football here in the state, especially here in the city of Cheyenne with East, Central, and South. As we get set in stone for that, UW football as well too, following up right behind that. We're getting ready for this, and right behind that, especially here in town, was always the Cheyenne Stampede, getting ready in late August, early September, games in October. Now it is a situation. Now we bring up the question of, will we ever see another hockey team at least occupy the rink that is the Ice and Event Center?
No.
At any point in time. Again,
no.
That junior A hockey, at least franchise, at least the franchise itself, that ownership or at least that possibility still floats out there. Again, someone can still buy it up, but the question is, will anyone
under
want
this
to?
Administration? No. And I'll tell you why. They're not going to foot any of the bills. Let's, again, look at Gering, Nebraska. The city of Gering built for the baseball team up there, the Pioneer, built them a $2 million stadium. Now,
they basically built it across from the old Oregon Trail Park that still stands.
And the one thing that didn't happen, they forgot to invest in the $4,000 tarpaulin.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
you
got $1 million stadium.
Like I told the owner, go next door. You had an armory next door. Have them put some tarps out for you. The next thing is, we don't care.
No.
Think about it. We don't care. And I'm talking the community. Yeah, there are some that are going to say, I do. But when it comes up before a vote, nobody cares. And as evidenced by the LCCC vote a few years ago, nobody cares.
Well, we understand that there was at least talks with the state to get that all taken care of now, but that's going to at least cost the state more than anything, at least to build that brand new rack.
The state whines that they have no money.
Yeah.
So, again, we have the opportunity not once, not twice, but 3 different times to make things a go. We don't. Grizzlies, again, tip my cap to Ron Cayley. You tried, pal. I give you all the credit in the world. Mark Lance, tip my cap to you, pal. You tried.
He's enjoying retirement now as he's cruising around the country.
You tried your best. You fought a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
You couldn't win. To the football team, I don't tip my cap to you.
I heard that was a complete mess, but I wasn't here for those years.
But then again, too, It sounds like you were doomed from the start.
Yeah.
And again, we try things and they fail. I don't know why. But up in Casper, and again, remember, Casper wants to be the capital city. They have everything.
They might as well be, because they have everything.
Yeah, but we have the jobs. We have the Fed. We have the state. We have the city. We have the county. We have all that amenities here in town. But to offer great hotels, and we're starting to get to that point, but we don't have the facilities. We are not even close to facilities. We're trying.
Not to others in the area, at least, especially here in the state of Wyoming. We're not even anywhere remotely close. Go back to, at least as we're talking about the state tournament happening up in Gillette. Obviously, I do believe in years past, Cheyenne has hosted that Northwest Regional, if I am correct. So one time. So again, it's been down here, but up in Gillette, though, they've been improving facilities up there. They are committed to athletics. It is that interesting dynamic of where Gillette kind of differentiates, and it pays off dividends, clearly, as we see in football. Again, as Campbell County for a lot of years before they split up into the high schools. Again, they were dominant on the football, basketball. They were dominant on just sports in general. Now we're seeing it with Thunder Basin now being the new school. Obviously, it's just still the same batch of kiddos out of Gillette.
Yeah, but you see the facility? You were with me.
Out of Thunder Basin?
Holy cow.
It's phenomenal. They did wonders.
See, here's what you're missing the point on, too. And Tag Lane would agree with me on this one, the former skipper of Post 6. You know how many state tournaments we couldn't host here because we didn't have the facility at Powers Field? Because Pioneer Park would not be the facility.
Yeah.
It did not meet American Legion standards to host a state tournament. So how many years did Post 6 have to go on the road before they finally got the opportunity to host?
Well, it brings up another interesting, these conversation as well, too, of where you're talking about missing out on state opportunities. Even with LCCC, and I'll use that as an example again, where we go back to last season with volleyball hosting the regional, not at the campus. Instead, it had to move over to kind of ancient Story Gym. Again, nothing against Story Gym, but it is a gym that is well past its prime. It's just been kind of painted in a brand new color, and that's about it. It is definitely old. It is a relic at this point in time. But it is not a world of the art facility. But does kind of the lack of interest in improving facilities, a lack of interest of investing into new recreation opportunities, new athletic opportunities here in the city of Cheyenne, or at least in Laramie County in general, does that hurt our local athletes on the high school, or again, with Triple Crown Wyoming, with the Extreme, with, for instance, again, with Cheyenne Post 6 not being able to host, or at least have difficulties hosting. Now, they're not going to have, at least with the improvements at Pioneer Park, but again, Pioneer Park is still nothing phenomenal.
But again, here's what's going to happen, Nick. Things cost money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also too, it brings up another question of, is it worth that money to invest in for our local athletes to have these opportunities?
Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. Yes, but here's the deal.
Well, for Chris, here's
the deal. The city's not going to foot all the bill.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to bring it to the voters for some help. Do you want to pay? And I'm just going to throw it out there. Do you want to pay a half-cent tax? How many people are going to sit there and go, hell no, I'm not going to pay an extra penny or an extra half-cent on a dollar bag of French fries? I'm not going to do it. I'm not kidding you, Nick. I've seen how things operate around here.
Yeah.
Okay? Even in the county where when we had Scott Noble in here, and again, it was going to be part of our mill levy. I mean, I pay my taxes, okay? So I could tell you what the mill levy is all about. And I'm sitting there, I pay a couple things on my mill levy, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I paying this for? It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But Scott said, hey, it's only going to be pennies on the mill levy. Nobody wanted that.
But it is the ultimate question with at least improving facilities, bringing leagues in, bringing in new facilities, being kind of a hub, so to speak, like Casper, Gillette has been, at least kind of here in the state of Wyoming, having these opportunities. Are we missing out on that? Does this affect with local athletes, again, on the high school, with Cheyenne in general, of that we don't have these upgraded facilities, that we don't have these opportunities that Casper's getting.
Yes. And the thing is, too.
Is it worth that investment, though?
Yes, it is.
I would say yes.
But the problem is, what the city doesn't want to do is spend the money, but they want to go after private investors,
which is fine.
And a couple friends of mine who are well-to-do, I think they're kind of tapped out.
There's money here.
I know, but everybody goes after the same people to donate, and it's like, you know what?
Kind of running them dry at this point.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would. But the point is, once in a while, it'd be nice if the city, the county, would pony up to the bar and take care of it.
It is the old adage of you got to spend money to make money. And I would assume, to be determined of what happens with this convention center, if it does bring in a new arena as well. And we'll see what happens of the ramifications.
And I hope it puts the ice and event center out of business.
I hope so, too. Again, that is just a complete joke at this point in time. But we'll see what happens with the Archer complex and what comes out there and what opportunities that brings out there in the county. But it is something that it does seem worth the investment to spend the money, as we had a caller a few months ago, or if not a few weeks ago, call in and say, hey, there's not enough money out here to invest, or at least for average Joe to spend on this. We can't afford it due to the fact that jobs aren't paying much out here in the city of Cheyenne. Don't you think that if you invest these opportunities, it brings in new vendors, new opportunities, new ways to make even more money, new competitive jobs out there here in the city of Cheyenne? That gives you that opportunity to enjoy these things because, again, it's an investment for your future, for kids' futures, for, again, the future of this community here in the city of Cheyenne. It makes sense to me. Again, at the corner of I-25 and I-80, we are the hub there to get down to Denver, up to Casper, out to Nebraska, over to at least, Salt Lake City, if you wanted to go all that, at least that far out. We are here. We have those opportunities. But it is something that, why are we so hesitant to invest in the future that could be beneficial for all?
You know what I enjoy especially, too, and again, you need to do this once in your life. Go to a city council meeting.
No,
and I'm serious, and I'll tell you why.
They already hate me.
I don't care if they hate you. You need to go sit down there and see how business works, because when we got a new business coming to town, first off, they hold a gun to the head of the city. We're not going to come unless you give us A, B, C, D.
Kind of like American Airlines, right?
I'm going to tell you the fun one.
Yeah.
Here's the fun one, ladies and gentlemen. Our little roundabout over there, Pershing and Converse.
One of the stupidest things.
Okay,
I'll never drive on that thing again.
But you know what? Safeway. When Safeway was a corporation.
That whole plaza's dead.
But I'm glad that Blue's buying it now, and they're going to make the world headquarters. But my point is, Albertsons buys Safeway. But the big dog from Safeway came to one of our city council meetings. It's on record, ladies and gentlemen, said, hey, if you don't build us this roundabout, we're not going to invest the $3 million into Safeway. Guess what? They build the roundabout. A year later, Safeway, boom, gone.
To me, it sounds like it's more of an issue of who do we have in power in the city than it is, outside of the community of,
We're so afraid. We're so afraid to lose these big businesses.
Folks, it seems like folks are in positions that they shouldn't be in here in the city of Cheyenne.
Again, this goes way back, though. This is not this time of
I'm not picking on this time as much as I can.
Administrations, it's like I said, there's more greased palms in this town than anything. Now, I will say this.
As we need to get a break, too.
We'll get to the break. The point is, you're absolutely right. We have an opportunity. Now, will we support it? That's the next question, Nick.
I'd like to think so.
I don't know.
I'd like to hope so. Again, it does determine where, you look at the Expedition League of how they operate and how they promote those.
Who's going to own it?
I would assume Chuck would probably own it, as he's owned majority of the teams in the Expedition League. And he knows what he's doing. But I think the rest of the Expedition League is showing that it did its research. It knows what it's doing, and it knows how to promote its teams to get them front and center in those cities that they operate in. And it is something that the Shine Stampede trying to do, Mark Lance, as much as the product on the ice was not good, and obviously that did detract folks, as we know that fans out here are very fickle. Again, they'll buy in when you're good and sell when you're having your rough patch. We know that, but it is something that I would think that if we get these upgraded facilities, have these new options that folks would buy in, like Gehring, like those folks out there in Scottsbluff and Gehring, they would buy those season tickets. We saw it with the Stampede. Again, there were diehard loyal fans to that franchise that showed up to an awful facility of the Ice and Event Center, without a doubt. But I think it is something that we have to invest into those new ventures, those new opportunities, whether it is an arena out here, also too, same with a new ballpark, whatever it may be.
But the investment is in recreation, Nick, and that is something that this city can't get the drill down. And I'm talking the city government. I'm talking the citizens of this community. I'm talking the citizens of this county. Can't get that drill down to say, hey, let's make an investment in recreation. Everybody wants their own little pet projects attached to any type of recreation event.
Yeah. Well, it does bring up the big question, and something maybe we'll have to pry on a few coaches of, with the opportunities around the area in any state, whether it's down in Colorado, Nebraska, here in the state of Wyoming, with Casper, with Gillette, or whatever city. With us, the lack of facilities, does it hurt our local athletes? I think the question is, it absolutely has to. It does have to hurt the opportunities for them to move on. Again, as we talk with Chris, we talk with whoever, again, these head coaches that come in, their end game is to move on their student athletes to that next level to represent the city of Cheyenne. Or at least, again, to make a name for themselves and have a better life and move on and do something in the future use. But I feel like, again, with the lack of facilities, again, not to step on or at least talk over the heads of the majority of the coaches here in town, but I think they would have to agree of lack of facilities and lack of opportunities does hurt our student athletes to move on to that next level, or at least get that recognition to do something special, get representation on a D1, D2 scale.
Yeah. Again, you're not getting,
and if not, get to the pros as well.
You're not getting any arguments out of me on this. All right, we do need to take a timeout. We were past break time. We'll be back after these words on 1480 KRAE.
Introducing Digital Wallet, a new way to pay with Platte Valley Bank. Add your Platte Valley Bank debit card to Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay, and have the ability to make purchases with just your phone. It's secure, simple, and accepted by millions of merchants worldwide. Try it today or check out pvbank.com for more information.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Are you thinking about buying a new water heater? You could spend $1,300 or more on a gas-fired water heater. Or you could spend $0 on a top-of-the-line electric water heater from High West Energy. That's right, $0. High West members can upgrade from gas to electric without spending a penny. Don't you wish all decisions were this easy? Go to highwestenergy.com to learn more or call 307-245-3261. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range. Under the definition of fun in the dictionary, they need to include two more words, Wyoming Downs. It's the perfect way to have fun with new and even more exciting simulcasting games on display, including Classic Heat, Great American Racing, Samurai Legacy, plus the Great Jackpot. That's just a sampling of fun that's happening today at Wyoming Downs. Make sure to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays, double points on Mondays. There's Mystery Moolah every Friday and Saturday, plus other special promotions going on at Wyoming Downs, with two fun locations in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Lincoln Way and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. Remember, for more information, go to wydowns.com. Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOY and 1480 KRAE.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 89. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 58. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 87. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 58.
Here, the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
I want to do something real quick here, and then I want to get into another subject. This might be one that you might want to use on a poll here, Nick. Real quick here, looks like some interest is happening now in Trevor Bauer of the Cleveland Indians, who fired, if you missed that over the weekend, he fired the ball over the center field wall on Sunday. Had a bad outing.
I have no issue with it. People are saying it's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. Again, the guy was frustrated.
Yeah.
He had a bad outing, and I get it.
Hey, my coach in my over 50 league got booted. Very rarely do you see old guys get booted out of a game on a bad call by the umpire. But anyway, with that, I guess that incident, there's been an uptick now in the interest level on the right-hander, and it started yesterday. And right now the Indians are getting tempted, but nothing has been confirmed. Then somebody sent a tweet here, John Heyman. He said, Indians are increasingly unlikely to trade Trevor Bauer. Word is ownership is reluctant to part with the big star with a team in position to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And possibly even win the division. They're, 2 games out?
They're 2 behind the Minnesota Twins, so they're still within it, but it is something where, again, is he a cancer within that ball?
No.
He's in that clubhouse as a possibility.
Here's where he's at.
I don't think it's that, but is it also too, if he is it time for new scenery?
He's 28 years old. He becomes a free agent after the 2020 season and is expected to receive another sizable raise in the final year of arbitration eligibility after earning $13 million this season.
Yeah.
So
he's worth the money. And
he's going to be cheap. That's the question.
If they were smart, they wouldn't. Again, he is. I don't want to say the face of the franchise, but he's well known. He is a star, bona fide star for the Cleveland Indians. And again, as they are in the fight right now to make the postseason, they still have a shot at either the wild card or also same with that Central Division. For the Cleveland Indians, this would be a bonehead move if they ended up moving on with Bauer just because of one incident. Unless it is something behind the scenes that they've not come out in the media, that have not put out in public eye, which could be a possibility. We saw what happened last year, or at least when rumblings came out of Colorado from Nolan Arenado not being happy part of that clubhouse. Maybe it is something that Trevor Bauer has kind of specified, or at least there is a situation in Cleveland right now where he is kind of that cancerous figure and maybe a negative spotlight there for the Cleveland Indians. If that is to be true, then maybe it is time, kind of like a Carmelo Anthony in the NBA. Hey, you got to move on. You got to get him new scenery, get him out of there, because it's a ticking time bomb that you don't want to go off in front of your clubhouse, that your team is still within it and has a possibility to make the postseason here in 2019.
And this is the first time you've ever said this, because we haven't heard anything bad about Trevor Bauer.
No.
With the Cleveland Indians. You're just, using the old speculative term.
Well, again, it could be a possibility. You don't know. Again, it might be hush-hush of what's going on inside the clubhouse there for the Cleveland Indians. But if it is regarding the incident of him throwing the baseball after the bad outing and just having that kind of, again, just having a bit of an attitude, I had no issue with that. Was it disrespectful? Not really. Again, Terry Francona had his words with him, and I wouldn't doubt after the game, hey, they talked about it in cool heads, or probably right now with it in Cleveland between those two. But it was, I get it. It was frustrating.
And Tito probably fined him. Probably threw a little fine down on him, in the kangaroo court.
That's fine, and who cares about that? But if it's all based off of that one situation of him just throwing the baseball out of just being upset and angered, that would be just idiotic and insanely stupid by the Cleveland Indians, and it's a spit in the face of the Indians fans out there where again, this franchise still has an opportunity. They're not tanking. They're not doing awful. They still have a shot at both the division and the wild card.
All right. Just want to throw that out there. So
we'll see. Again, you still have, we're under 24 hours until tomorrow's deadline. Again, 4 Eastern, so 2 o'clock here in the Mountain Time Zone for trade deadline, where I think in all it's going to be quiet. No big names like a Bauer, like a Bumgarner, like a DeGrom, like a Syndergaard, nothing like that. I don't anticipate any of those big names around the move.
This is from SportsIllustrated.com, where they're saying MLB rumors, Astros could pursue Trevor Bauer if Zach Wheeler trade talks fizzle.
As that is your laptop
What the heck is who keeps turning on my speakers here?
You're the only one that operates it.
I don't turn on the speakers. So anyway, my point is, so Bauer could be in talks with the Astros. They're also looking at Zach Wheeler. The Astros again looking at
Zach Wheeler, who has injury issues. He was, again, being part of that Giant system where he was anticipated to be the next big thing, or at least the next big arm, and basically be, this highly touted prospect. He's really not paid off dividends. So could he be on the move? Possibly. Is he worth a whole lot at this point in time? He might be cheap for teams that are interested. Who knows at this point in time? But in trade deadline, I think we'll see kind of the small moves that we've been seeing so far. Again, just kind of bolstering bullpens or getting cheap players here in to kind of help get teams to that next level. Yeah. Again, I just don't anticipate that we're going to see anyone big moving.
All right, I do want to mention this, and I thought about this here. Matter of fact, coming home Sunday, and the one discussion that we had that I guess the 3 schools here in town have been kind of not balking on, but haven't really made that decision, has been girls softball.
Yeah, we're still again, at least not talking with the commission of the Activities Association with Ron Laird, and also haven't really talked a whole lot with the situation with at least manager Adam Galisi of the Cheyenne Extreme. The last that we knew is that we were waiting on Cheyenne to be that 8th city, as we had 7 cities committed to play girls softball in the high school ranks here in the state of Wyoming. Cheyenne was the last to vote on it. Now, from our understanding, that waivers were sent out, or at least forms were sent out, like little questionnaires, but it was a very vague questionnaires of what, or at least from the photos that we saw and our understanding of it was encompassing all sports of basically what athletics are you interested in joining that had softball in addition to it. And yes, we are still waiting for whatever reason here in town, this city, to make a move and say, yes, we are committed.
Let me ask you this question, and I'm thinking about spring, and I'm thinking about fall. And again, the reason why I thought about this over the weekend, because when we had Reed Thompson here talking about these guys get a chance to play some fall ball. If they, the baseball-only guys.
Who are not competing in football. And
So when you look at coming back to school here, you have tennis, you have golf, you have cross country, you have volleyball. What's to say that we can't put a fall league together for softball? What's wrong with that?
Well, that's up to the Activities Association.
I know, but again, weather.
What they're concerned about, not even when they're going to set this thing up, and we've talked to Rod about this of what they're trying to do. They've weighed both options, but it is what they're focused on, and I think our main focus has to be on is, why has Cheyenne not committed to being that 8th city here in the state of Wyoming? Why are we still hung up on this? And again, why has this not been put in place?
It's going to interfere with soccer, and it's going to interfere with track and field. There are a lot of student athletes on the ladies' side that go out for track and field. They're runners.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But
and again, I think you're going to have more dilution with soccer and track and field as opposed to golf, tennis, cross country, and as well as volleyball.
Well, and that might be an issue as well here in Cheyenne, where we see with Cheyenne South, and again, not to pick on the Bison, but again, when we talk with AD, at least Mark Puev, and we'll eventually have those talks with all 3 ADs before we get set for high school athletics here coming up at least late August, again, where football starts August 30th, and again, we will have that here off 1480 KRAE, but it is something that we see at Cheyenne South, where the split into 3 high schools for whatever reason in this city has affected athletics more so at Cheyenne South, the new dog, the new school here in town, where they're having trouble fitting, at least putting out athletes to these sports. And is that is that the main reason why we are having this hiccup right now regarding athletics, or at least regarding softball here in the city of Cheyenne with our high school ranks, is because we're afraid that we're not going to fit enough teams? And I think that is also a valid question of, do we have enough interest in softball here in Cheyenne, or at least to fit 3 different high school teams?
But I think Adam Galicia said, and again, I'm not going to paraphrase it. He's very in favor of all of this.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with the Extreme, they do pull in entities from around at least the county, or if not out of state. So obviously, that would not work on the high school ranks, so to speak, unless you do get a waiver or find a way out of the county. But again, for the Torringtons of the world, for those folks that are part of the Cheyenne Extreme, again, obviously they would not be able to unless there is some workaround with that. But I highly doubt that, again, dealing with school and everything. But it is a situation where it's very interesting that Cheyenne has not pulled the trigger yet on this and said, yes, we're committed. But is it a hesitation with having that third school where you have you got to fit 3 high school teams? There's no doubt about it. But
I understand that. But think about this, though, Nick.
Or could there be a workaround where you just have one high school team at Central or East or South? Or
no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. All 3 high schools have to be in the thing. But again, I still think it's a better fit during the fall. Weather is much better. And again, but
it does take away the potential against volleyball.
You could take away. You're not going to take away that many kids. What you're going to get is 2 months of solid softball. September, October, and maybe you have a playoff in the first week of November. Gosh, excuse me, but if we have the 9 teams, you're going to have to play it like you do football. And to be real honest, gang, the 4A kind of bores me. We play the same teams every year. We don't play Colorado teams anymore. You notice that? We don't play teams out of our division. We don't play Scottsbluff.
Well, I don't think it'd be fair for 4A to take on 3A.
You understand what I'm saying, though? It's the same thing. So why can't we make a league similar to what we got going on for football? You got 9 teams, 10 teams, whatever they come up with. And you just play each other,
I would assume you would have 11 because Casper's already committed, so you would have Kelly Walsh and Natrona.
Okay, you have an 11-team league, and you play doubleheader there. You play a doubleheader here. You get this all done on weekends.
Yeah.
And, and then you have your playoff come that first week of November. I know it's going to be cooler, but you know what? At least for a solid 8 to 9 weeks, you're going to have fall ball for the softballers. And for Adam, at least it's not going to affect his season when he gets started in March.
As we need to get to our last break, but at least once we get those 3 entities here in studio with us, again, when we talk with Jerry Schlass from Cheyenne East, when we talk with Chad Whitworth of Central, and again, Mark Poev from Cheyenne South, we'll get their thoughts on this and try to get an understanding of where do we stand on. Is it a logistics situation out here in the city of Cheyenne with having 3 high schools where we see one high school is struggling to get athletes at their main sports? And again, that does include football. How many times did we have to announce with Fighting Bison football that freshman or sophomore games had to be canceled due to the lack of numbers? Because whether it was injuries or folks are not showing, or at least going out for football, you ran into that with other athletics. Soccer, they had issues there at South. Basketball had issues there at Cheyenne South.
But also kids go out for some sports that they don't want to play. They're going out just to be part of it.
You're seeing a trend in one high school here in town that is having issues with footing teams. It is something where on the athletic director side of things here in the city of Cheyenne, I understand where maybe there is that slight hesitation to set up high school softball here in the state is because we're already seeing difficulty. We're seeing a trend with one high school here in town where we expanded to for whatever reason that we're having that issue getting kids out for those athletic programs that are already established at that high school. Could that be the issue? And again, that is the question that obviously will prompt all 3 of them to figure out what is there. Is there an issue?
What is their hang-up?
Yeah, what is their hang-up? Is there an issue, or is it something that we're trying to, take their time with, so to speak, to get a full understanding of how, will it affect volleyball? Will we have enough for softball? Will it affect soccer? Where is this getting placed as well, too? again, there's multiple questions with it, and hopefully have not set a date or time to get in those athletic directors, but it will be sometime in the month of August that we'll get all 3 of them in.
All right, well, we need to take our last break, according to Nick, and we'll be back and get things wrapped up right here on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Make your drive anything but average with the 2019 Kia Sorento. I'm AJ Miller, and with the 2019 Kia Sorento, you get similar features like the competition standard models, but spend less. That puts more money in your pocket. Dynamax all-wheel drive, Smart Power liftgate, and Surround View monitor are some of the many features available on the Kia Sorento. Come into Kia of Cheyenne for exceptional value. Call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 89. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 58. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 87. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 58.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Rocks and the Dodgers again at Coors Field later on this evening. I can't believe how fast our program has flown by. Once again, we want to say thank you to our broadcast partner, and again, will be joining me for football broadcast, Chris Polton, as he comes in on Tuesdays. And it's almost like when he sits down right away and he's got that damn Dodgers hat on, we got to start dissing on the Dodgers right away.
Well, it's hard to, and again, they are just so dominant right now. They are the best. They are the best team in baseball. They have a half-game lead over the New York Yankees, a half-game lead over the Houston Astros. So again,
and they lead the West by a plethora of games.
Yeah, without a doubt. But
and again, they get Kyle Freeland tonight. Will Kyle Freeland be a batting practice pitcher?
Probably.
Who knows? He's a southpaw, so I'm sure that Dave Roberts will try to load it up a little bit on the right side.
As we talk with Chris ad nauseum about baseball, and again, always enjoy doing that with Chris when he joins the show. And again, we'll pick his brain about probably more football as we work at least towards high school and college football here in the month of August, as that is 2 days away for us. But Again, at least want to let folks know coming up tomorrow, we will go heavy on the football side of things, more so on the Wyoming Cowboy ranks, also to the Mountain West Conference. We will have 7220sports.com founder, co-owner, or I think he's majority owner, but either way, though, contributing author at 7220 Sports, again, one Cody Tucker that we've had in studio before.
Right.
He was out in Las Vegas, at least in attendance of the Mountain West Conference Media Days. We'll get his thoughts on everything, talk about what happened, as we have not gone over it, but we will with Cody Tucker ad nauseum coming up on tomorrow's show.
Golden Age Radio Theater, 8 until 10 tonight. Sherlock Holmes ×2 from 8